Now, with these reformers, the Reformation, people like Martin Luther and John Calvin, there were a lot of things that they really did that were wonderful. And they stood up against the false teaching that was going on. That church that had more than just spiritual authority, but, even authority politically. And they were taking advantage of the common people during that time that were poor and just like a lot of people couldn't read, they didn't have religious freedom like we do now. And that's one of the good things that came out of the Reformation, actually. Seeds were planted for religious freedom. Some other good things that came out of the Reformation were like the Bible was translated, at least the New Testament, like Luther translated the New Testament into the German language at that time. And that was good. And there were even people that were before him, like John Huss and John Wycliffe. There's like pre-reformers too. Yeah, and there's a lot on YouTube that you can go and watch documentaries, and there's so many books and everything out there. It's very interesting. And even just church history. But there is a difference between the Catholic Church, the Holy Roman Empire, and the one true church like we read about in the Bible. And I could really go on about a lot of good that came from the reformers at that time, pre-reformers and the reformers and everything. And I'm learning that, there was even counter-reformers. But there were also some bad things, and really bad actually. And it happened especially like in Luther, for example, later in his life, and his attitude that changed towards the Jewish people. And we have to remember that these men, they were just men. I never really even took a closer look at the different writings that they presented at that time, because the printing press had been invented, I don't know, it's like 50 years beforehand. So then when Luther would start writing his works, his different writings and stuff, he would get those out into the printing press and out to people, and he'd go speaking around. And when I was in Germany, I actually got to visit some of those different churches and stuff that were around during that time, and even just different sites that had to do with the Reformation. It was pretty cool. But even like Luther, for example, he was Catholic beforehand, and he was an Augustine monk. And then if you go back and start taking a look at that Augustine of Hippo, there's some dark things about him that we could even learn about too. And then you look, and a lot of all that kind of stuff has been brought in. So it's good to take a look at it and throw out the bad and throw out what isn't in the Bible.